we're losing. Those of us who want the government to the government corruption to be defunded. And that can change with different leadership that's committed. So another big story this week is a related story because everyone's nervous that we don't have a speaker. And if we don't have a speaker, Congress can't do anything, as if Congress is going to do anything in the immediate term to help Israel. But there's no speaker because Speaker McCarthy lost. He was kicked out. And there's no replacement yet. Now, I don't know what's going on. Last I heard, Jim Jordan is the leading candidate, but whether he has the votes to push him over the top is not clear. And if I were running for speaker, what I would do, I would say this is the line. I'm not going to let funding go forward, a continuing resolution go forward. I'm not going to fund Biden on this particular issue or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 because it's important to the future of the country that, for instance, the funding of the invasion stop, that our border be secure, that the funding of the effort to jail Trump and other innocent Americans stop, that the funding of the censorship stop, the funding of the decimation of our military through propagandizing DEI to them, that revolutionary anti-American concept promoted by those who support the terrorists in Israel. I mean, can we at least stop inculcating anti-American propaganda in our military? Should that be a priority, it seems to me, if you're a good thinking congressman? So or maybe just pick one and just say, this is my line. And of course, there's been no effort to do that by any of the leading candidates. And I like, I don't dislike any of them personally. And I've known Jim Jordan. He's probably the congressman I've known the longest. I mean, I've known a few congressmen, but they've all seemed to have retired. But Jim Jordan's still there. And he's generally a good guy. But he's out there talking about, according to reports, that he wants to have a continuing resolution through April. So how's that any different than what McCarthy pushed through? Arguably, it's worse. Months and months of funding for the worst of the Biden corruption? I don't buy into that. I think that's a mistake. And I think if even McCarthy initially had taken this view, this is my line, and I'm not going to back away. If you want government funded, you're going to have to stop attacking the civil liberties of Donald Trump, or destroying our sovereignty through this invasion, or destroying the First Amendment rights of millions of Americans by censorship. And if you share my views, you need to let your members of Congress know. I don't know if they're going to be there over the weekend, but call them at 202-225-3121. Because that's what, it's not so much who the speaker is. I guess, the personality matters, the leadership qualities matter. But what are they going to do once they're in the office? What's the expectation of the caucus? And the expectations, in my view, are too low. You, dear voter and dear citizen, your job is to elevate the expectations and let them know what you expect them to do. And it can't be the same old, same old. So I don't know if Jim Jordan's going to be the speaker. I don't know who else could be speaker at this point. If it's not Jim Jordan, all bets are off as to who the speaker could be. But that's less important as opposed to what the expectations are from their leadership. And right now we're losing. We're losing. Those of us who want the government the government corruption to be defunded. And that can change with different leadership that's committed. So I'm both hopeful and frustrated because I don't think it takes a lot. Just 1 or 2 people with a commitment in the right position can do a lot of good. It's not it won't result in the country being perfect, but much better off than we are now. But as you know, Judicial Watch just continues the fight, irrespective of what goes on in Congress. So this is part, we don't have high expectations for Congress, but it doesn't mean we shouldn't expect more out of Congress. And what we try to do is encourage Congress to do the right thing, but we're not going to rely on them to do the right thing in the end. And so that's why we continue our Freedom of Information Act lawsuits, investigations, and other litigation to hold the government accountable and to stop the government from doing bad things. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and like our video down below.